Hey everybody, welcome to a improvised cup of Ray from live. Of course, I'm down here live at the world famous Ferg Sports Bar and Grill. And for any of you who may not already know this, it's on Central Avenue, just below 16th Street, here in the Edge district of St. Petersburg. I thought you could actually see it better. If you haven't come down to St. Pete in a minute, or if you've come down at night for a little nightlife, or coming to Ferg's to watch maybe tonight's game between the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles, that is Tropicana Field behind me. They have removed all the previous sale on it, and as I reported, just hours after the Milton had hit, that everything on the roof looks structurally sound, and that's exactly how it looks now that they've removed all the tent, if you will. It is looking pretty solid, and of course, the big news today is that the Rays will be playing their 2025 season just across the bay there at Steinbrenner Field. Couple of prefaces. I've only got a few minutes because you guys and girls don't have a whole lot of time. It's a Wednesday. It's a hump day. Oh, it's Thursday. I'm sorry. I forgot. Monday was a holiday. I went to Steinbrenner Field 2 weeks ago. Picked Tristan up. He was over there with some friends. They had a dance. They were over there hanging out. And I hadn't been there since, of course, I parked with my season tickets back in the day there at over at Legends Field, now Steinbrenner Field. And I hadn't seen it from the west side in so long, because even when we used to park there for season tickets, we'd walk across the walkway to Raymond James Stadium. And I was taken aback. I was like, wow, 12,000, just under 12,000 seat capacity. All the outside of it kind of almost reminds you of a big league stadium. And it's kind of good news to hear the Rays are going to keep it locked right here in St. Petersburg, in Tampa Bay. Faux pas, not going to be in Clearwater, not going to be down in Port Charlotte, but they have options. The reason why I said this, and I went live, and I didn't mean that faux pas for St. Pete. One of the reasons why a lot of people have said to me, how can you be so obtuse? How can the stadium works geographically over there in Tampa? And I understand how working GIS and maps and understanding how things work. I do understand geographically. It's why the Rowdies were over there at one point. The Buccaneers are over there. The Lightning are over there. Tampa's kind of built out. It does have a large downtown community, and St. Petersburg is getting businesses by the day, but a lot of condos going up. But unless you were here in the early or mid 80s, it used to be the big brother, little brother, right? Or big sister, little sister, Tampa, Hillsborough versus Pinellas County. The city of St. Petersburg, especially, and Pinellas County worked hard to get that stadium. One of the reasons, now I'm not going to say which particular time it was, but the reason why the San Francisco Giants didn't come here, or the Chicago White Sox, or the Seattle Mariners, or maybe even Wayne Huizenga gets the Marlins ahead of the team, but we get here that ends up in 98 being your Tampa Bay Rays, was because Hillsborough County and Pinellas County were literally working against each other from the moment, even before the stadium across the street there, Tropicana Field, was even built. Always been a contentious thing, because both counties realize the economic feasibility and what it means to have a professional sports team in your county. The reason why the Ray Stadium works across the street, the reason why the lease was written up that the owner of the team as long as the team's in the city limits, in 2027, city of St. Petersburg, you get half of the development rights for what now is, we got a lockdown deal for a $6.5 billion development in the gas plant district over the next 10 to 15, maybe 20 years. The reason why it works here is not only did St. Pete plan for it, from back in the mid 80s when they built the stadium, and of course over the years through development, but now in 2024, they give the owner of the Rays, currently Stu Sternberg, literally billions of dollars to build a stadium. The city of St. Pete's figured out a way using the what's going on with the redevelopment or development around here to have a museum, to have throwbacks, to get that new pavilion, to be able to use as a convention center, a place for our marching bands to have their state championships here, which they've always had here at Tropicana Field until last year, and they plan to hopefully have it accordingly moving forward. My daughter walked both in high school and college, or not college, actually it was down in Sarasota there, but she walked, and my other two kids will also walk. My son will walk in the new pavilion. Wait a minute, 3 years, it'll be close. But my daughter, she's definitely got it. But the reason why I take contention with the issue is that ever since the city of St. Petersburg, Mayor Welch, and the entire city council worked to get that deal done, and then Pinellas County got on board because they realized what it means to not only keep the home team home, but to keep it here where they've been, where they built the stadium, where they dedicated millions and millions of dollars back in the 80s. And of course, now we've got that deal where they just approved this earlier this year, both at the city and county level for the new development. I understand there's a lot of people in Tampa. By its very nature, I've already said, geographically speaking, there's a lot of people. I understand where a lot of people might be a little skinned ass because they got to travel west across the bridge. You got to leave Tampa to come to Pinellas County, pass the beaches, see the sunsets, see the party life, and yeah, at the end of the day, you got to drive back. Just like I always had to when I was a kid, going to Bucks games, an hour and a half on the Howard Frankenstein, the old Howard Franklin, and I had to come back, and it's the way it is. The city of St. Petersburg and Pinellas County literally planned for this. 40 years ago. They said, if this team is still here, we've got 88 acres and we're going to do it. And for the people that were promised things when they were displaced when the original stadium was built, we're going to take care of them this time around. And Mayor Ken Welch, City of St. Petersburg mayor, made sure to do that in this deal. Wouldn't that be funny if I was on mute? But the great news is they're going to be right at Steinbrenner Field. I went and seen the Yankees train there. I used to go see the Yankees train when they were down here at Al Lang with the Cardinals and with the other teams. Saw the Rangers and the Cardinals play. That was the last actual MLB spring training game I saw here. And of course, we used to go down there when the Rays the single A team was down here, and we used to go down for the all-you-can-drink beer afternoons. Usually it was Thursday nights, I believe. But the great news today is your Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays, stay in Tampa Bay. They play across the field. And here's the thing. J.P. Peterson, you said today, they're going to sell out the entire season. Well, yeah, they were averaging 13 to 20,000 across the street last season in St. Pete. So you can deal with that. Your numbers are always going to say it. Maybe Hard Rock Bets. Maybe there's a company. Maybe Walter Powell, Jim Walter Powell Corporation comes back and they want to build a stadium. Okay, if that's the way it goes, I'm not saying it can't be done. What I'm saying is at the end of the day, the deal was lock, stock, and two smoking barrels to have it here. The storm took a roof off. They're going to have it fixed by 2026. I'm predicting here, just as I predicted the morning after Milton, that they'll actually play some games in 2025 there. Maybe they make the playoffs, the stadium's done playoffs, and they get it there. I don't know. But if they want to save it for a grand opening in 2026 and then play the 26, 27, and possibly the 28 season as you get your brand new stadium, the pavilion done across the street, just a little bit east and a little tiny bit south of where the current Tropicana Field is, I'm good with that. Am I saying that there's 100% until they haven't even broken ground yet? They just got the deals in place at the city and county level. I'm not saying it can't be done as long as the Rays stay in Tampa Bay. What I'm saying is just because they've decided to play at Steinbrenner Field because it holds 3,000 more than Clearwater. It's right there in Tampa, and it's going to make it easier for everyone to get to. At the end of the day, the deal is still done. The money's in place. The county and city, and everybody said, well, the county vote's not going to. They may want to go back to the table and rethink things. Maybe they go an extra year down the road because they're building a new roof, and it gives them time to make that new stadium even better. I'm not saying 100% I've seen the future and I've sat in a new pavilion and I love it. What I'm saying is the deal's already in place for the next next season at least. All you're going to hear from now through then from the talking heads. By the way, speaking of talking heads, jumped in the car to come down here, and I'm like, okay, I've already seen all this. I jumped on, hit 97, 93, 95.3 WDAE. Colin Coward, okay. And maybe Colin's talked about the stadium. It's not number one on his list. In fact, I'll bet it's not even on the top 10 things if it's not even pre-recorded because, of course, the news didn't break till afternoon today. But we didn't have J and Z. We didn't have local coverage in one of the biggest markets in the country. I'm a little bit animated here, but I apologize again. For someone who's read the history of the stadium, for understands the machinations, if you will, between Pinellas and Hillsborough and how Hillsborough always had it, but now we're building out over here and we got a deal in place. Guys and girls, I'm here to report to you now, as sure as I'm standing here, and it already happened today, you're going to hear the talking heads saying, the deal's not going to fall through. Something's going to happen. Somebody farted and it stinks. Really? Go ahead. What we're talking about is your Rays are staying in Tampa Bay at Steinbrenner Field for the 2025 season, and I'm looking forward to it. Smell the grass, feel the humidity and heat, but you know what? It's a sacrifice we make for the home team, for your Tampa Bay Rays. To me, still one of the best teams in the American League, and with our pitchers coming back next year, look out. I'm glad I got that off my chest. Other news. Again, the Commanders and Eagles, great game tonight. The Bucs are on a bye. You got the Giants. Then you got excuse me. I'm not even going to go into the Bucs. I don't have time because I'm on a lunch break here. And I know you guys and girls, if you're watching, you are too. Go to my YouTube channel. I'm going to share it in here. I won't always ramble. And like I said the other day, I promised you there'll be no drunken tirades on YouTube unless you guys and girls want it. But stay with me, Tampa Bay Ray, and the Sports Web for all of your Tampa Bay breaking sports news. Because unlike most people who go by a schedule or who have laid off half their staff and are depending on Colin Coward at the national level or anybody else, we'll go live and if I can, from right here. And again, you see Tropicana Field. I wish the sun wasn't so shiny on it, but it's Florida. Blame me. All of the tarp is removed. We can see the entire full structure. And guess what? It didn't take a full year and a half to build the original roof. They've already got 75% of it done. They got to put the big Coleman tent on it. I thought it could be done for someone, and you may find out in the next few months, while you're not listening to the talking heads trying to get the team over to Hillsborough, while you're not listening to Hillsborough County, who couldn't do Ybor, had no money, have really a little bit of a place, unless you kick George Steinbrenner or Steinbrenner Field out of it where the Yankees have trained. And okay, if a deal gets done, historically speaking, it keeps the home team here. George Steinbrenner and shipping and what he meant for the city of Tampa and the port and all the history. I find it hard to believe that the city of Tampa, at least some of your diehard Yankee fans, but anyone that understands the history of the area, other than just being too nearsighted to want to come across the bridge to enjoy paradise on both sides of the bay, are going to say, no, leave the Yankees. This is where I saw Derek Jeter, the captain, for the first time. This is where I saw Aaron Judge when he was nursing an injury. I don't know. What do I know? I'm not a professional baseball team manager, nor did I sleep at a Holiday Inn last night. But I'll tell you guys and girls one thing. I know this, and I know this to be true. Your Rays will be playing here in Tampa Bay in 2025. Kind of always thought so, but who said Montreal? Thanks for following me, and thanks for watching. Share the show, and please follow me on the YouTube channel. I'm trying to build this thing out, and man, wait till you see some things that are coming down the road, especially if I can continue to build out my channel, my brand, but also in conjunction with the Sports Web. Peter Blake, the #1 sports coverage in the Bay Area. Why? Because we take your calls. We go live and talk, but we are wanting to take your calls. That's what we do. There's no agenda. We're there. We got news coming for you, but we want you guys and girls to interact with us, because at the end of the day, that's the evolution of it. That's the evolution of sports. That's the Sports Web. Peter Blake, myself, Tampa Bay Ray, Cup of Ray. Thanks for joining me. And as always, everyone needs to know that someone cares this weekend on a bye week. Even if you're Bucks fans, you're tailgaters, what the Buck, tailgate for a purpose. Reach out on Facebook, and don't just reach out and tell me how Todd Bowles deserves to be fired or how our defensive secondary is 32nd in the league. All true. Not Bowles being fired, though. But at the end of the day, reach out and let them know you care, because everyone needs to know it, and it feels good to find out. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Please share the show, and we'll see you on the next Cup of Ray. Or if Peter Blake will have me again in the sports, Peter, have me in the Sports Web. Thanks, everybody.